Hello everyone, welcome back to the tutorials again. So in previous session we have studied about advantages of pre-stressed concrete over regular reinforced cement concrete. So in that we have studied about the advantages based on the different effects and different benefits. So section remains uncracked, so this is one of the benefit, and there are various advantages of this particular benefit. Similarly, high span to death ratio, it is one of the benefit, and various advantages of these benefits are given. So similarly, like this, we have studied about the advantages of pre-stressed concrete. As the concrete is having various advantages, there are some shortcomings also, or else there are some limitations also, in which we have studied that pre-stressed concrete needs skilled technology. So skilled technology, skilled labors, it is needed for casting of pre-stressed concrete. Similarly, it uses high strength material, and that is why it is costly. Next one, there is additional cost of auxiliary materials or auxiliary equipments. For example, uh, pre-stress inducing device. So various devices are there. We are going to study about those devices further, but this is one of the disadvantage. There is need of quality control, and there is need of quality control and inspection, as it is very much as it is very much cost effective. It is very much costly, and it needs skilled labors. Similarly, it needs additional uh, quality control and inspection. Pre-stressed concrete are less susceptible for fire resistance, or they are having less fire resistance. So this particular thing we can understand by understanding the uh, aerated concrete. So as pre-stressed concrete use aerated concrete, so it is less fire resistance as compared to regular concrete. So till here we have studied in the previous session. So in today's session we are going to study about classification of pre-stressed concrete, or types of pre-stressing. So pre-stressing concrete can be classified in several ways. Our pre-stressed concrete can be classified in several ways. The following classifications are discussed. So the classification of pre-stressed concrete can be done in several ways based on the different things. So further we are going to discuss about the source wise classification of pre-stressed concrete. So first thing, source of pre-stressing force. So based on the pre-stressing force, we can classify the pre-stressed concrete. That is, this classification is based on method by which pre-stressing force is generated. So this particular classification is based on the method by which this pre-stressing force is generated. So there are four sources to generate the pre-stressing force. First one is mechanical, second one is hydraulic, third one is electrical, and fourth one is chemical. So these are the four means by which this pre-stressing force is generated. Next, external and internal pre-stressing. So this classification is based on location of pre-stressing tendon. This is very important. Based on the location of pre-stressing tendon with respect to concrete cross section, internal and external pre-stressing are the two types. Next, pre-tensioning and post-tensioning. So this is the most important classification. This is the most important classification and is based on the sequence of casting the concrete and applying the tension to tendons. So if I apply the tension to tendons before casting the concrete, it is called as pre-tensioning. If I apply the tension to the tendons after casting the concrete and after attaining the required strength, it is called as post tensioning. So these are two important types of pre-stressed concrete: linear and circular pre-stressing. So this classification is based on shape of member pre-stressed. So if we are casting a circular type of member, then we need to go for circular pre-stressing. If we are casting a linear member, we have to go for linear pre-stressing. So it is based on the member to be pre-stressed. Next one, full, limited, or full or partial pre-stressing. So based on the amount of pre-stressing force, three types of pre-stressing are defined. Okay, based on the amount of pre-stressing force, three types of pre-stressings are defined. So this is what they said about full, limited, or partial pre-stressing. So it should be two because full or partial it is. Next one, uniaxial, biaxial, or multi-axial pre-stressing. As name suggests, classification is based on the direction of pre-stressing of the member. If I am pre-stressing it in only one direction, it is called as uniaxial. If I am pre-stressing it in two directions, that is x and y, it is called as biaxial. If I am pre-stressing it in multiple axis, it is called as multiple axis pre-stressing. It is called as multiple axis pre-stressing. Next, sources of pre-stressing force. Next, sources of pre-stressing force. In that, what type of source which we are going to use, we are going to discuss these things in detail. Sources of pre-stressing force, this is the first one which we have studied. So that is mechanical, hydraulic, electrical, or chemical. First one is hydraulic pre-stressing. This is the simplest type of pre-stressing, producing the large pre-stressing forces. So we are going to use the hydraulic jacks in this case. So use it for tensioning of tendons. So by applying some tension to the tendons, by using the hydraulic jacks, we are going to apply some tension to tendons and compress them of calibrated pressure gauges, which directly indicates the magnitude of force developed during the tensioning. So we are going to use the pressure gauges which are directly going to indicate the magnitude of force developed during the tensioning. So this is the hydraulic pre-stressing. Second one is mechanical pre-stressing. This type of pre-stressing, the device includes weight with or without level transmission. Gear transmission is conjunction with pulley block. So there is some mechanical arrangement through which we are going to induce the stresses, which is called as mechanical pre-stressing. Next, electrical. In this type of pre-stressing, steel wires are electrically heated and anchored before placing concrete in molds. So it is electrically heated so that we can stretch them, and after they get cooled, there will be some amount of pre-stressing which is going to induce. So this type of pre-stressing is also known as thermoelastic pre-stressing. This is very important and this is a recent technique. External or internal pre-stressing. External, when pre-stressing is achieved by elements located outside the concrete, it is called as external pre-stressing. The tendons can lie outside the member. For example, in case of eye girder, yes, definitely in case of eye girder, if the girder is in I shape, to stress the top and bottom member, we have to use the wires which may get exposed outside. Okay, so you can see over here, as this is the eye section, these are the tendons which we are going to use to induce the stresses. So you can see these are the tendons. Next, internal pre-stressing, when pre-stressing is achieved by elements located inside the concrete member, so commonly by embedded tendons, that is called as internal pre-stressing. Next one, pre-tensioning or post-tensioning. This is very important. Pre-tensioning is accomplished by stressing the wires or strands called as tendons to predetermined amount by stretching them between two anchorages prior to placing the concrete. This is very important, prior to placing the concrete, before placing the concrete, I can say. So they are stretched between two anchorages. They are stretched between two anchorages before placing the concrete. So it is shown in the figure number 1. The concrete is then placed and tendons became bonded with the concrete together throughout their length. After concrete hardens, after concrete hardened, the tendons are released by cutting at the anchorages. So as we are going to induce the stresses initially before pouring the concrete, once we pour the concrete and once the concrete get hardens or achieves the desired strength, we are going to cut the tendons at the anchorages, because they are not going to come back to the zero tension as initial, because they are now bonded with the concrete. The tendons tend to regain their original length by shortening. As we have induced the stresses in the tendons, by they are they are going to try to regain their original length by shortening, and in this process transfer through bond a compressive stress to the concrete. So in this process compressive stress to the concrete is transferred. The tendons are usually stressed by use of hydraulic jacks. The stresses in tendons is maintained during the placing and curing by anchoring the ends of tendons to the abutment that may be as much as 200 meter apart. So this is what they have given. So this is a pre-stressing bed, this is the anchorage, so this is the tendon which we have placed. So this is a tendon, you can see this is a tendon which we have placed. So this tendon is stretched initially, and then this concrete is casted. After concrete reaches desired strength, we are going to cut the tendons, and due to the bond between tendons and concrete, the compressive stress is going to get induced between the mm, concrete and tendons. Next, post tensioning. Post tensioning is applied to the tendons after hardening of concrete. The pre-compression is transferred from steel to concrete by anchorage device at the end blocks. The alternative to pre-tensioning is post-tensioning. In post-tensioning beam, the tendons are post-tensional beam. The tendons are stressed and each end is anchored to the concrete section after concrete has been cast and has attained sufficient strength to safely withstand the pre-stressing force. Post-tensioning method. In post-tensioning method, tendons are coated with grease or bituminous material to prevent them from becoming bonded to concrete. This is very important. We are not going to allow the bond between concrete and tendons before we induce the stresses. Another method used in prevention of tendons from bonding the concrete during the placing and curing of the concrete is to encase the tendons in flexible metal hoop. So flexible metal hoop, there is a metal cover which we are going to induce to prevent the bonding. So this is what they have given. Initially we are going to induce the duct inside the concrete body. By using that duct we are going to place the tendons, and by using the anchorage and jack we are going to induce the stresses. Next, linear bar circular, so it is depending upon the shape. So you can see railway pedestals, those are pre-stressed or pre-tensioned members. Similarly, they are example for linear pre-stressing. Similarly, circular pre-stressing, this is a overhead water tank. So circular pre-stressing we can do in case of cover of the tank at the top. Full, limited or partial pre-stressing, so you can go through it. Full means fully pre-stressing we have to do, partial means some amount. Uniaxial, biaxial or multi-axial pre-stressing. So uniaxial pre-stressing means when the pre-stressing tendons are parallel to one axis, it is called as uniaxial pre-stressing. For example, longitudinal pre-stressing of beam, so in only one axis we are going to pre-stress them. Biaxial pre-stressing, when there are pre-stressing tendons parallel to two axes, it is called as biaxial pre-stressing. Multi-axial pre-stressing, when the pre-stressing tendons are parallel to more than two axes, it is called as multi-axial pre-stressing. For example, pre-stressing of domes, so this is the best example. You can see here we are pre-stressing here, so they are parallel to multiple directions, they are parallel to multiple directions. Now difference of pre-stressed concrete over reinforced concrete. Differences. What is the exact difference between these things? In pre-stressed concrete member, steel plays active role. The stress in steel prevails whether external load is there or not. But in RCC, steel plays passive role. The stress in steel, the stress in steel in the stress in steel in RCC member depending upon the external loads. So initially you can see whenever we are in case of regular RCC member, whenever we are going to apply some external amount of load, then and then only the stresses are going to get induced in the steel. But in case of uh, pre-stressed concrete, stresses are induced in the concrete initially itself. So next one, in case of pre-stressed concrete, the stresses in the steel is most constant, whereas in RCC stresses in the steel varies with the lever arm distance. So stresses in the steel varies with the lever arm distance in case of RCC. Next, pre-stress concrete has more shear resistance, where shear resistance of RCC is less as we use high strength materials. In pre-stressed concrete member, deflections are less because eccentric pre-stressing force will induce couple effect in that. So deflection will be less in case of pre-stressed force. Similarly, you can go through all these points. These all the points are going to explain you about the major difference between pre-stressed concrete and reinforced cement concrete. So pre-stressed concrete is more durable as high grade concrete is used, and more dense in nature as RCC is less durable. In pre-stressed concrete, dimensions are less because external stresses are counterbalanced by the internal stresses induced by pre-stressing member. So therefore reaction on column footing are less as whole quantity of concrete is reduced by 30% and steel is reduced by 60 to 70% as in case of RCC. So in case of RCC, if we compare RCC and pre-stressed concrete, 30% of concrete can be reduced and 60 to 70% of steel can be reduced. Now these are the advantages or differences of pre-stressed concrete over the reinforced concrete. So you can go through these advantages or disadvantages are the comparison of RCC and PSC. I can call pre-stressed concrete PSC, RCC and PSC. So usually in many of the exams they ask this question: differences of pre-stressed concrete over reinforced cement concrete. So you can go through this very carefully. In next session, analysis of pre-stressed member or pre-stress member we are going to study. So in analysis of pre-stress member, what are the terminologies which we need to use, and what are the various things which we need to consider, we are going to study in next session. And after that we are going to study few of the examples which are related to pre-stressed concrete. So thank you, we'll stop here.